And how do they interact? They wrestle and they beat Krishna and they call him names. Amazing. Krishna is God, and here they are wrestling him and winning. They're beating him, making fun of him, and running around and playing games together. You know the games the cowherd boys play together? One of them, they'll see the birds flying and the shadow on the ground, and they'll run and chase the shadow of the birds. Or another one, there's a big well, and they'll yell into it, "Hello, hello, hello." And then they'll mock the echo. "Hey, stupid." Or they'll imitate the frogs, jump around and jump into the water like a frog. Or they'll go to the monkeys and they'll show their teeth. You all have been to Vrindavan before? You seen the monkeys there? Maybe your glasses got stolen? Yeah. And then you got them back with bite marks on them. You bartered them. So Krishna and his friends in Goloka Vrindavan, they play like equals. And this is amazing, huh? To actually think that God is my friend. And that's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, in the 11th chapter, Krishna reveals his universal form to Arjuna. And then Arjuna says, Krishna, "Hey Yadava, Madhava, hey Saketi." He's telling Krishna, "I'm sorry, please forgive me for being so informal with you. Laying down together, joking together." Arjuna feels bad about this. But Krishna doesn't like that. So he removes his universal form, comes back into his original form. Because Krishna likes to interact with his devotees like this. He actually doesn't want us to, he gets more pleasure when he is criticized by his loving friends than when he is prayed to by the most saintly brahmanas with Vedic mantras, you know? Vishnu Sahasranam, you can recite the whole thing in great reverence, and it's wonderful. But Krishna is more pleased when his friends say, "Hey Krishna, you're just a little boy, you're just my friend." Or when his mother corrects him, he's more pleased like that. And so the next stage of intimacy is Vatsalya. And this is where we get into Damodar Lila, is in the parental affection. So now this is practically inconceivable to most religious people in this world. Like I just was in the airport here in Charlotte, and I always go to the chapel. Very nice. If you're in the airport, there's a place you can go and chant japa, read Bhagavad Gita. And while I was there, some Muslim people were coming in and offering their pranams to Allah. And it's very wonderful that they do this. But now I'm thinking, in the Muslim understanding, even to depict an image of God is heresy, right? What to speak of depicting God as a baby who's getting tied and criticized, chastised. It's inconceivable. This is very, very high level theology that you don't see anywhere else. And this is what convinces me about the potency, the absolute nature of this tradition, of this understanding, is that it reveals depth about our relationship with God that you don't get anywhere else. And it's all explained philosophically too. It's not that these are just some interesting stories, but actually unbelievably deep philosophy. Like Jiva Goswami, considered one of the greatest philosophers of all time. He writes these 6 books, the Shat Sandarbhas, which go in great philosophical detail, explaining the tattva, the truth about God and who we are and the nature of this world. Great philosophical detail. So if you want answers to any question, it's there in the theology of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And when you think about your relationship with God, you naturally wonder, who is this person? Right? If you love someone, you want to know who they are. Just like there's this story of a man who's at a party and he is talking to someone there, and this person is asking about his wife. And so, where's your wife? I don't know. What does she look like? I don't know. What's her name? I don't know. So do you really love someone if you don't know anything about them? Yes, God the Father. But who is that Father? What does he do? So we are extremely fortunate that we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, which reveals in great detail who is that person who is the Father that Jesus Christ talks about. He is Allah that Muslims are praying to. And when you begin to understand the details of who this person is, you can't help but fall in love. Because who's more amazing than Krishna? So in this month we celebrate God as a baby being tied with a rope by his mother, Yashoda. Have you all discussed the whole pastime in previous classes? We don't need to go into the details. There are some who have not heard. So in brief, I'll share, and then we can go into what this Leela really means for all of us. So, Krishna always goes and steals butter from other gopis' homes, yes? And his name for this is Makan Chor, or in Toronto, Kir Chor Gopinath. Yeah, he steals Kir also. He steals all butter products, or milk products. But he especially likes Makan. But Mother Yashoda was feeling, and Mother Yashoda was feeling, is the butter in our home not good enough? Why does he have to go steal from others? So you know what she did? She got the best cow and gave it the best grass and got the best milk and wanted to make the best butter so that Krishna wouldn't go and steal from other gopis' homes. And so while she was preparing this butter, Krishna woke up and was hungry. And so she came and she was nursing little Gopal. And then she realized that the milk that she had on the stove was starting to boil, and so she set down Krishna and ran over to get the milk. And then Krishna, naturally, was very angry, biting his lip and trembling with anger. And you know, Krishna incarnates as, you know, Prahlad's worshipable deity is. Who's Prahlad's worshipable deity? Narasingha. When he comes out of the pillar, not like that. Really scary. So terrifying that everyone in the universe could hear and was affected. And the anger of Lord Narasingha was so terrifying that even the great devatas were afraid to approach. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva couldn't approach Lord Narasingha because he was so ferocious. But little baby Krishna had that and more. How can we understand? So Krishna was unlimitedly angry, and so wanted to do some mischief. So he went over to the butter pots and brought a stone, broke the pot, and was eating the butter. And it was a very messy scene actually. Krishna got the butter everywhere and it was on his feet, and so when he walked around there were little buttery footprints. And he was also feeding his friends. Who are his friends? The monkeys. So Krishna was also feeding his monkey friends this butter. And he was sitting up on top of this grinding mortar. And then Mother Yashoda came, and she saw Krishna. He knew he was doing something wrong, so he was looking left and right. And when he saw she was coming, he took off running. And you know, Krishna ran away from someone else actually this is later on in his pastimes, but his pastimes are always happening. He ran away from Jarasandha. Was it Kalayana? Kalayana, yeah. And Ranchor, yeah. So when Kaliyavana was chasing Krishna wasn't even running. Kaliyavana was going full speed. Krishna wasn't even running, and he was faster. But you know, when Mother Yashoda was chasing little Krishna, he was running at full speed. Imagine. So, there's much detail. You can talk for days about this pastime. But eventually, Mother Yashoda catches Krishna by the arm, and she wants to teach him a lesson. Because if you're a parent, it's your duty to sometimes correct your children. Yes? And so she felt, I need to train my child. And even some people were saying, but he's God, you can't correct, you can't chastise, train God. And she's thinking, maybe he's God, but I'm his mother. I need to correct him. This is my duty. This is the inconceivable mindset of Krishna's eternal devotees. And so Mother Yashoda tries to bind Krishna. She gets actually the rope from her hair. That's the first one that she tries. Hundreds of yards of rope, and you can't put it around him. Because we also see in Krishna's pastimes, he was eating dirt. Remember? He was eating dirt, and Mother Yashoda said, open your mouth. Because, well, Krishna's friends were saying, Krishna's eating dirt. Mother Yashoda, Krishna's eating dirt. And Krishna, no, I'm not. So she says, open your mouth. And what does she see in his mouth? The entire cosmic manifestation, all the sun, moon, stars, all the devatas, and she even sees herself within the mouth of her child, and she's bewildered. So here they are trying to bind Krishna, but he is everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. All spiritual and material worlds come from Krishna, he says. How can you put a rope around the unlimited? But you can do it. How do you bind the unlimited? This is the simplicity of bhakti. If you have affection, then Krishna becomes subservient to his devotee. Therefore, pure devotional service is very, very rare. We don't find pure devotees very often. We're all trying to become pure. But when you meet someone who is at that level, it's very rare and extremely fortunate. So if you've come in contact with someone who has given their entire life and they do nothing else but preaching, teaching, serving, consider yourself very fortunate because they're very rare. And why is it so rare? Because Krishna becomes the servant. He becomes the slave, sold out to his devotee. And whatever his devotee wants, he will do. So if you have impure desires, Krishna won't become subservient. But he wants to. He loves this. So all we have to do is just love Krishna. Very easy, right? So simple. If we just develop love, then Krishna will become subservient. So Krishna agreed to let himself be bound. And it was that one rope that Mother Yashoda took from her hair that she bound him with. And then, even when he was bound, he was still doing mischief. This is a very crude example. We're not saying Krishna is like this, except in one way. A prisoner may be in a gang, and when they're outside of prison, they're doing criminal activities. And when they're in the prison, they can still do criminal activities. They have their connections. They're still making lots of money. They can still, whatever they want, they can do. So Krishna, he's tied up. He's imprisoned. But he's still able to do his loving crimes. So his friends, he asks them to go out and steal butter from the homes in Vrindavan. And then he wants to have some more fun, and so he starts to drag the mortar, and there's the two Arjuna trees, crashes them down, and Nalakuvara and Manigriva, these great devatas, come and offer prayers. So this is the Damodar Leela. We can hear it again and again because it's always sweet. We should actually recognize, if we say these 4 words, then we are putting a cap on our advancement. What are these 4 words that we have to be very careful about? I already know that. Do you ever think like this sometimes? Okay, Krishna's Damodar Leela again. I already know that. Oh, Bhagavad Gita? I already know that. Yeah. So this is our problem. We think we already know. If we really knew, then we would have love for Krishna. If we really knew, we wouldn't be distracted when we're chanting Hare Krishna. If we really knew, we would be able to have full attention every time there's a class, regardless of who's speaking. So, the lesson here for us, the key takeaway, learn to develop affection for Krishna. Easier said than done. So how do we develop affection for Krishna? What are the secrets? You all know the secrets of developing love for Krishna. Chanting. Yeah. Kirtan. Yeah, this is the Yuga Dharma. This is Golokera Prema Dana, Harinama Sankirtana. Yeah, if we want Prema Dana from Harinama. Yes, we get this great gift. This chanting of Hare Krishna is imported from the spiritual world. It's not a vibration from this world at all. It's another thing. I already know Kirtan. I do this, yeah, okay. I've heard this melody before. Okay, the same Prabhupada melody. Hare Krishna. I know that one. But we don't realize. Nam Nam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis. All of the potency of Krishna is in his name. Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha. And there's not even strict rules for chanting. It's just that we make offenses. So we get distracted. We criticize other Vaishnavas. We get in some politics, some gossip. Oh, this devotee. You know what they did? And this destroys our bhakti. So it's very simple. Just chant and be happy. Absorb yourself in the holy names of Krishna, and you can perfect your life. Prabhupada made it very simple. Work your way up to 16 rounds, 4 principles, and you don't need to do anything more. It's about 2 hours a day, and live a pure life. And that's about all you need to do to attain the unlimited, complete perfection, pure love of God. In one life, you can do that. Maybe 40, 50 years of serious practice. You do whatever you want to do. Go to work, have a family, go to school, no problem. Just follow this simple program, 16 rounds, 4 principles, and you can have the complete perfection of life. Prima. So it's simple for the simple and complex for the crooked. So let's take lesson from the pure love of Krishna's eternal devotees, his cowherd boyfriends, Mother Yashoda, and develop simple affection. And especially by this Harinam, by this chanting, we can quickly perfect our life in the association of others who are seriously practicing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for your kind attention. If there are reflections, something you'd like to discuss further, some question you may have, this is time for that.